This video is an ApeX exchange tutorial. ApeX is a crypto futures exchange, but the big difference is it's decentralized, meaning that all of your assets stay in your wallets at all times and you trade on chain. This means you don't ever put your assets on a centralized exchange. We're going to learn how to get set up with this, how to connect your wallets, and how to go ahead and trade on this exchange. Timestamps for all of that down in the description. Let's start with connecting our wallet to the ApeX exchange. I'll leave a link below to the official exchange website so you don't go to the wrong one if there are any fakes around. But it's apex.exchange, and then when you trade and go through to the app, it's pro.apex.exchange, but link in description if you want to go through to the site. Now, when we connect our wallet, we can connect wallet here. Now, if you don't have a wallet already, I'll leave a link in the description to tutorials on how to get set up with MetaMask, including making the wallet and adding networks and everything. So I'll leave that link in the description as well. But there's 4 networks here that you can choose to connect via these wallets if you have them. I'm going to show you with MetaMask. Now on the exchange, because it's a layer 2, you actually just deposit and withdraw funds from these networks. And then when you're using the exchange, you don't actually pay gas fees on these networks at all. ApeX uses Starknet, which is an Ethereum layer 2. All you have to do is use one of these 4 networks to deposit and withdraw funds. And once they're on there, you don't pay any gas fees and you don't confirm transactions on chain because it's all on layer 2. It's a really good use case, but you need to have one of these networks on your MetaMask or other wallets to be able to deposit funds. I'm going to choose Arbitrum 1 and I'm going to choose MetaMask here. Like I said, if you don't have a MetaMask account, link in description to get one set up and how it works. Now, what you have to do here is you have to connect your wallet and you have to verify your ownership of the wallet. This doesn't use any gas fees, but if I send a request right here, I can choose remember me as well. So I'm going to send requests. It's going to go through to my MetaMask and it's going to say, do you want to sign this transaction? I'm fine with this. Doesn't cost any money or anything. You just have to sign that you're actually making sure that you own the wallet here. So I'm going to sign. So that's easy. I'm just using a burner account here. If you have a Ledger or a Trezor, you'll have to have that plugged in to sign the transaction as well on your hardware wallet as well. But ApeX onboarding, I'm going to sign that because I'm happy to. And now it says, do you want email notifications? I don't want that. But as you can see, my wallet is now connected. If this is the first time that you've connected your wallet, it may ask you some other questions. For example, do you want to set up an account? You can actually put your email address in and a username as well. That's totally optional. You don't need to do anything. You just need a wallet to set it up. But if you do want an account associated with your wallet address, like a username, you can do that as well and put your email address in, but you don't have to. So we are connected here through Arbitrum 1, through one of my wallets here, and you can obviously switch these chains as well. But like I said, it doesn't matter if you have these chains switched. These chains are just for depositing and withdrawing funds on there. So wherever you have funds on one of these networks, you can deposit it into the ApeX exchange. If you're wondering how to get assets off of your centralized exchange into this wallet, once you've set up a MetaMask, we can just come to one of these networks and click them. And if you don't have it added to your MetaMask yet, it should add it for you. So if I choose Polygon here, you can see it just tells me, do you want to switch to this network? Because I have the network added already. If you don't, it will just say, do you want to add this network? And it will give you the details there. Just click yes, I want to add the network. And then you have the network added to your MetaMask. It's as simple as that. You can also go over to your MetaMask itself, and the address should be the same no matter what network that you're on, because they all use the same address format. So if you're on the Ethereum mainnet or the Polygon network or BNB or Arbitrum, you should see that the account address is exactly the same, and then you can just withdraw funds from your centralized exchange to the account address that you want and on the network that you want, whatever one that may be, and then you'll actually have funds in your MetaMask account on any of these networks. Then you can make a deposit into ApeX DeX. You can deposit a few different assets onto the exchange to trade with, but they are all going to be auto-converted into USDC. So because this is a futures exchange, it uses collateral to fund your positions. The collateral is US dollars essentially, and they use USDC for this. Everything on here is USD margined. You can't coin margin. You can't use ETH to margin your trades here, just USDC for now anyway. So when you make a deposit, on the right-hand side, we'll click deposit. You can choose any of these networks to make a deposit from. It doesn't matter which one, you can use different ones over time, as long as you have funds to deposit here. And the assets that you can deposit, if you deposit any of these 3, they're going to be auto-converted into USDC anyway. There may be a small fee for that as well, so just make sure you're okay with that. And then choose the amount that you want to deposit here. Now, you have to enable USDC first, so we're going to go ahead and do that. and we'll just accept this. We'll use the max as a custom spend, press next. You have to pay some gas for this, so we can approve that. And once it's approved, we should be able to confirm the deposit. So we're going to press confirm deposit. So again, you need some ETH in your Arbitrum account if you're doing this, or if you're using BNB or Polygon, you'll need those assets as well to pay for gas. So that is in progress. As you can see, non-Ethereum deposit in progress, non-Ethereum deposit confirmed. So very quick, very easy to do that. So now we actually have some funds. We can go ahead and margin some trades. Just a quick note on trading fees on this exchange as well. They run a maker-taker model. So if you are a maker of liquidity, that is someone that puts limit orders on the book and actually makes liquidity on the order book, you'll get incentivized to do that with a trading fee of 0.02%. If you're a taker of liquidity, that is someone that uses market orders. So use a market order and take other people's liquidity from the book, you'll be paying 0.05%. Actually very, very low comparatively to every other exchange. This may change over time though, so check details when you're actually watching this. We'll come to an overview of the exchange page then, and surprisingly, this acts in the exact same way as a centralized exchange, despite being able to keep custody of our assets. So it's very similar to something like Bybit. If you've ever used that, Bybit actually have invested in or made some of the technology for this exchange, so that makes sense. But it's decentralized, but you have the centralized trading features on here, which is obviously, I think, a good use case. Now, when you're trading futures, you do have to keep this funding rate in mind. Funding is something that is paid between long and short positions, and if the funding rate is positive, that means long positions pay short positions. If the funding rate is negative, it means short positions pay this funding to long positions. So if you see a plus by this, it just means that you're going to be having to pay this funding if you're going long. What you can do is work out the APR that you're paying. So it's a 1 hour funding rate. So as we can see here, this is 0.00125 every hour. So we times that by 24, and then we can times that by 365. It's about 11%. So if you had the position open for 365 days, 1 year, you'd be paying around 11% in funding rate out of your P&L. The funding rate changes over time though, so it can go higher than this, it can go lower than this, it can also go negative, which means if you're in a long position, you get paid this funding. It's not a major deal in terms of your trade, but it's something to be aware of. Other than that, even though this is a decentralized exchange, you don't pay any gas fees per transaction. Like I said, you only pay to deposit and withdraw funds on these networks, and when you trade on here, it's the same as a centralized exchange. Let's go ahead and enter an order on the system then. And the main thing to be aware of here is how much leverage that you're using. So up on the top right, you can change this. I think it defaults to 30x, which is obviously crazy. But with leverage, I don't recommend leverage, but here's how it works. If you want to use leverage, you can use an amount, let's say 10x leverage. If you have $1,000 in there, you can now open a position size worth $10,000. But with a $10,000 position size, a 10% move in that 10,000 is $1,000. So if the position moves against you by 10%, you have wiped out 100% of your collateral that you were trading with. And so leverage exaggerates wins and losses, makes losses much faster, and obviously much worse as well. So on the flip side, you can make bigger gains. Leverage is up to the individual. I don't recommend it, but a lot of people, of course, want to use it. So that's how it works. 1x leverage here, just to show you. Now on ApeX DeX, what happens here is that you have an order cost down here and an order size up here that you trade. So let's say I want to trade 0.001 BTC, that's $28.6 right now. The order cost with 1x leverage, i.e. no leverage, is the same as the order cost, which is, as you can see, 28.6 basically. So that's your order cost. Now, if I change this and actually use more leverage here, so let's use 5x leverage and we'll press confirm, what we can see is that the order cost goes down, but the order size stays the same. The order size is still 0.01 BTC, which is $28.6, but you can see my order cost now is much lower, and that's because I'm using 5x leverage. So 5.7 times 5 is, let's say, more or less 28.6. So with leverage, you just put less down. So this right here is the important thing. What do you want the order size to be? And then how much leverage do you want to take on average? Most people choose maybe 5x or something like that. So you can choose the amount of leverage that you want to use, and that will dictate obviously the order cost. So let's go 2x leverage, press confirm. You should be able to see the order cost right here for 0.001 BTC. Because ApeX behaves like a centralized exchange as well, we can also put take profit and stop loss orders in when we're trading. I'll show you on the buy side here. It's obviously the same for the sell side if you're doing that and selling short. But the buy long with TPSL, take profit, you can use a dollar amount or a percent ROI. So let's do 25%. You can see that a secondary sell order will be in above the current price that will lock in a 25% profit if it gets there. For the stop loss, you can do the same. So let's do ROI, 10% down. When the index price reaches 27,146, it will trigger a sell order to sell out of your position at a small loss, obviously stopping a further loss. So that's something that you can do. Let's do 25% each side, and we can actually go ahead and enter this trade. So buy long here. And as you can see, that's straight in. And also something to be aware of when you have open orders is the account equity that you have, because if you're using leverage, especially if you're in a loss, your account equity may be getting low. So you can see available margin here. I still have some USDC to trade with. The account equity is essentially the margin that you have plus the positions that you have open. Your account equity, if you're in a profit, is going to go very large. If your account equity is getting very low, you could be getting liquidated out of those positions. But of course, you can just make a deposit to increase your equity in the account to fund the positions. But down here on the bottom left, you can see we have the position open right here with the order details. And if we scroll to the right hand corner, you can see the unrealized P&L that you have. That might be a loss or a profit, and you have the take profit and stop loss details if you added them. If you didn't, you can add them right here. So you can very easily press the plus button. You can add in those details here as to what you want. The take profit price, and the details here, the quantity that you want to get rid of, and for a stop loss it's the same. So you can enter those details in terms of, do you want an ROI 25%, you want to enter an order in that. So you can do that and press confirm, and it will put the take profit and stop loss orders in there. If you click on details, you can see my current TPSL. So the details in terms of the trigger price and what type of order it is. I can cancel these as well if I want. So if I don't want those orders in, for example, if I don't want the take profit, just cancel that. And there in the bottom, you can see it just says success right here. So that's cancelled out, and I can keep my stop loss. You can also see if you go to, I think it's field or order history, you should be able to see that down here. So you can see the order history. This one is obviously filled and active. This one was cancelled. This one is untriggered for now, which is my stop loss. So that is what you can do with open positions right here. You can either run them, edit the take profit and stop loss. You can add collateral here, or you can close the order. So we can do that here by market or limit. So if you press market, you want to choose the quantity that you want to sell out of, for example, the whole order, press confirm, and it just market sells everything, and then you're out of that order completely. Something to note also when withdrawing from the protocol is it depends which network that you're using as to how fast you get the assets out. So if you press withdraw, what you can see is you can only withdraw USDC. Now you can choose actually any of these networks to withdraw from. Even if you used Arbitrum to deposit and you want to use Ethereum to withdraw, you can do that. They just send you the dollars out because they're just using wallets on these networks to hold collateral for, for your account. So you can withdraw on any of these networks. If you're using one of the scaling layers, it may take a slight while for them to move funds from one wallet to another wallet to actually get that withdrawal out to you. But anyway, you can see it may take a couple of hours to withdraw. Probably won't take that long, but they just show you that. And the fee to withdraw on this anyway is $1 with no gas fees. You just have to pay $1 out. But that is how to withdraw, and you can withdraw on any network. Just take that out back to your wallet. I'll leave the link to ApeX Exchange down in the description. If you want some more detailed trading guides as well, the Crypto Investor course has 300 videos that go through everything. I'll leave that link down there as well. I'm James with MoneyZG. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.